Welcome, everybody, to another crazy edition of Corner to Corner Wrestling Radio right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. 2/3 of the Triple Threat complete and in the house tonight. Brian Taylor, what's going on, sir?
Not much. What's going on? Sorry, I'm distracted.
That's all right. It's a beautiful weekend out here in Virginia. The skies are sunny, and I think the temperature's like 75 outside. It's so nice. I'm Stan Grubb, of course, and we are joined once again by the Motor City Motormouth, the Magic City Motormouth, Fast Eddie Lane. What's up, Eddie?
Did you do that as a silent tribute to destroyer barges that have gone by in the past?
You know what? I started to, and then I said, nah, let me just go back.
There you go. How we doing?
Doing good, man. How about yourself?
Wonderfully well. It's been a topsy-turvy week. I actually still get, I still pop at the Macy's New York City fireworks display on Wednesday nights. We have a couple of them that go on around our home market, but I always DVR the Macy's one because they just absolutely tear it up, and it gets bigger and bigger every year. 3 years ago, it was three boats. 2 years ago, 3 boats. Last year, they went to 4, and this year they went to 4 barges and 3 smaller boats to make 7 total in use. And I'm just sitting back going, wow. I think I'm going to fly up next year just to have a boat on the Hudson to watch this display go off.
Yeah, the 4th of July is always a pretty big deal around the Virginia area. Also, neighborhood right across the way from where I live does a huge setup. Brian, I know you were at one of the bigger parks in the area, weren't you?
No, we were at an elementary school that overlooks the park.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah, smarter, not harder. You know what
Very
I'm saying?
true. Especially when it comes to the traffic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, lots of news to talk about this week, guys. We have got some controversy, some injuries, some rumors, and we've even got a Brock Lesnar sighting.
And some good old-fashioned wrestling, too. Just throw that out there.
Indeed we do. So let's talk about the controversy. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. Ring of Honor, World Heavyweight Champion, center of controversy right now, Jay Lethal. Following his victory over Dalton Castle, Cody Rhodes, and who was the third or the fourth part of that? I don't remember. Silas Young, I think.
No.
Wasn't Silas?
Was Young.
No, Silas was in a different match.
Yeah.
So following his victory, Taylor Hendricks, former Ring of Honor superstar, former Impact superstar, and of course nationally known throughout the independents, takes to Twitter and puts accusations out there that the reason her push in Ring of Honor and the reason she didn't become the Women of Honor champion was that she would not sleep with Jay Lethal. So here's the thing. If we've learned nothing from recent social media events, the one thing we have learned, and Eddie, you and I talked about it just a few moments ago, that is to wait and see. Because let's just go ahead and take a look at a few different examples. Enzo Amore. Now, granted, Enzo doesn't have a lot of friends. I get that. Not a popular guy backstage, and could have done a few things differently. However, initially when the reports come out that he's accused of sexual assault, there's reports out there stating that he was under investigation, that he denied the investigation to the World Wrestling Entertainment folks, and he was summarily fired. Everybody, myself included, putting Mr. Amore under the bus solidly and then going forward and backwards just a few times to make sure he's got the tread marks. Here's the problem, though. As of this morning, Phoenix Police Department releases a police report advising there was not sufficient evidence to not only charge, but also to further investigate the situation. Also stating that there was no corroborating evidence from either social media and or cell phones to support the theory that there would have been any type of assault. The only thing they could prove is what the young lady was indeed in his hotel room, and she left the next morning. That's all they could prove. So, fast forward. Enzo Amore has been fired by WWE. Everybody thinks that he lied and that he denied it and all of that. Now suddenly it looks like Enzo might actually have a case and could actually sue this girl for slander, among other things, and also sue WWE for wrongful termination if he wanted.
No.
Whether he'd be successful or not, who knows? But the truth of the matter is, now we have to take a look at Mr. Amore in a different light.
No.
Now we look at CM Punk. Further example, right? CM Punk goes on the Colt Cabana show, his podcast, talking about WWE, damning WWE because of how they treated him. Fair enough, right? We all get into his corner because kind of makes sense, kind of follows with what we'd see.
Are you eating something?
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry.
That's it. Go to the corner.
My apologies, sir.
You get the dummy hat.
So, Punk goes ahead and goes live. Everybody gets in his corner. Everybody's like, yep, CM Punk's right. The WWE screwing him. Hail and farewell. CM Punk deserves to go wherever he wants to go. But you start hearing rumblings of this contingent. They're like, oh, he's a prima donna. He was given everything that he wanted. WWE is totally innocent. So WWE takes him to court for defamation of character and slander and a couple other things based off of the allegations that Dr. Chris Amon was at fault for how he was treating wrestlers, including CM Punk. Well, it causes all kinds of controversy. Everybody suddenly gets split, and now CM Punk is seen as some kind of a prima donna jerk because they think maybe he was lying just to get more money out of the company. Well, we find out later on that CM Punk is found innocent, I suppose, or civil court is just not at fault, correct?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So found not at fault in the lawsuit, and Chris Amon and WWE have to fit the legal bill. Now we have to take a second look at CM Punk and realize, maybe CM Punk was really telling the truth, and we should all maybe just sit back and go, okay, that's how it really is. So with Taylor Hendricks making the accusation, I have to agree with Eddie. I did catch a little bit of what he said earlier. It's time to maybe take a moment and just wait, because we don't know all the facts yet. And while it's not a good look for Jay Lethal, don't get me wrong, any kind of allegation like that, it's going to hurt his career. It sucks, but it's going to happen. Ring of Honor is going to be somewhat tainted from it too. Again, this kind of thing is controversial, and it spreads. However, until there's further proof, I honestly don't know where I stand with this. I don't know that I believe Jay Lethal. I don't know that I believe Taylor Hendricks. I never met Jay Lethal. Any information I've ever gotten about him was that while in the ring, he's a tremendous professional. Outside the ring, he appears to be, from what I've read, and all of this is speculation, a bit of a prima donna who doesn't like to shake hands or talk to people. But I don't know that for sure. It's just opinion and conjecture. Taylor Hendricks, she kind of has some of that going on in her own right. Again, I've met Taylor Hendricks. I had no problem with her. I thought she was tremendous both in the ring and out of the ring. Maybe I'm biased. I'm not really sure who I believe in this. Brian, what do you think?
I haven't, other than seeing one thing that started this all, I haven't fooled with it.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason to fool with it until more comes to light.
Yeah, more information.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely controversial. It's not a good look for either the company or for Jay Lethal, but at the same time, if it comes out to be smoke and mirrors, then boy, Taylor's going to have her work cut out for her to recover for this. Eddie, what was your stance?
One, wait.
Yeah.
I have worked with Taylor Hendricks. I have my own personal opinions about her. I have worked with Jay Lethal. I have my own personal opinions about him. But the first-hand knowledge that I have of the two stems from a professional circumstance, not a personal circumstance. So that does not give me the latitude and the firsthand knowledge of either individual to predicate my making a rash decision. Now, this is what I have recommended for everybody to do. Hold up. Because I have bashed, verbally, BASHED, bashed sports media, wrestling media, those who want to consider themselves to be wrestling media, and the mainstream media for the way that they have handled circumstances over the last few years. And let's go back to it. Chris Benoit, he who shall not be named. When ESPN, Shepard Smith of Fox News, and about 5 other outlets, the first words they said, roid rage. You guys don't know this yet. They did not know this. This was day one. Lo and behold, I don't care if it was proven to be that or not, or complications from CTE and concussions. The fact is, the media and those who profess to be in the media have become so sensationalistic. New word, write it down, make a t-shirt. They are seduced by this aura of, I can get my opinion out there first and mine's going to hold water because I got out there before everybody else did. That does not always hold true. 2 words, Rich Swann. That's why I'm saying I don't care if you're the almighty Schmave Schmelzer. I don't care who you are in this industry. I don't care if it's the guys at Sports Center, Fox Sports 1, Bleacher Report, Playboy Sports. I don't care. Wait. Let the investigation play itself out. Let's get the facts before we form an opinion or make a judgment. Because remember, a whole bunch of people have done that in previous days and ended up with a ton of egg on their face.
And that's where it becomes just such a hairy issue. I mean, granted, it's in the news, so we're going to point it out. Hey, this is a thing that's happening right now. It's getting a lot of buzz. But if at the end of the day it turns out that there was just an unhappy former employee for the company that felt like she was screwed, well, now we know that you can't trust this person in or out of the ring. And that's not a good look. If it turns out that there's truth behind it and that Ring of Honor covered it up, then the problem with that is you got to wonder if there's anybody else. Supposedly is really or allegedly, really the term we need to stick to. There's a second victim here. You know what? If it happens that way, if we find facts, then it makes sense. But if it doesn't, or if we don't, you got to kind of call it what it is, and that's just smoke and mirrors. And for the time being, I'm sure you guys would agree, that's really all that we can say about that. So let's talk about some other stuff. Did you guys know there was a Brock Lesnar sighting last night?
All day long. That's what I saw. Twitter, Facebook, other, media outlets. Brock Lesnar. Yeah.
Who?
I mean, I think ESPN already has the tail of the tape out for them too.
Cormier is actually the favorite according to the Westgate and 5 other gambling sites.
So Daniel Cormier wins the UFC Heavyweight Championship.
Thank you.
Defeating Stipe Miocic. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Stipe Miocic.
Stipe Miocic. Okay, well, I botched that one bad.
Yes, you did, sir. Have you not seen the Modelo commercials?
Nope. Anyway, Cormier, fresh off his victory, hops on a microphone with Joe Rogan and, immediately calls out Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, in a scene right out of the WWE.
Yeah, so all of you guys that are like, oh, the UFC is legit.
Yeah,
No.
right.
Sorry, no, it's not. You've been lied to, and you need to just go on and sit on Santa's lap a little bit longer.
And, sir, I hate to correct you again, but it wasn't immediately. It took him a couple of minutes because he was actually that was after an interview with Joe Rogan, where Rogan talked about the fact that, and Cormier acknowledged the fact that he is one of 5 people to hold a championship in more than one weight class, as well as the second person in UFC history to be a dual champion. Saw the fight last night.
It's still a work. Still a work?
Yeah, I had Stipe in 4.
No, I'm just saying.
I was wrong.
It's still a work. As the great Tony Schiavone said, it's a work. So, of course, Lesnar comes out there and gets face-to-face with Cormier. And, hey, congratulations, UFC. This is going to be a big draw for them. But, if I'm Vince,
Yep. Jump off the
I'm
bridge
thinking
now.
I'm thinking to myself, why is my champion not at work? Now, granted, I just said it's a work, right? So, part of me thinks, well, Vince is just going to let him do whatever he wants, use him when he needs him, and make money off of the appearances. All right, I get that. But we talked about it last week, and I still agree to the point now. While he is a draw or an attraction, I don't know that he sells an abundance of tickets anymore. And outside of UFC, I'm not so sure the interest for Mr. Lesnar is all that strong. So, wrestling fans right now on Twitter especially, and Brian, I know you probably saw it, fans on Twitter are just stark raving mad right now that Brock Lesnar can show up at UFC, but he can't be at Monday Night Raw.
All right, so I'm sure that he needs, some type of authorization to just show up on the show, right? And even to climb in the ring. I'm sure he's not just allowed to climb in somebody else's ring, from the WWE, right?
Right.
So, I'm sure he had to call, run it by somebody. And something tells me that Vince is okay with this, because if Brock Lesnar, as the reigning, defending, whatever the line is, goes out there and beats the UFC champ,
Daniel Cormier.
yeah, then that would give some type of legitimacy in their mind to Brock Lesnar and the WWE. He got the world title? What's he got? Universal?
The Galactic Space Intelligence. Oh, wait. No,
Yeah.
it's Universal title.
No, that's
Okay.
Kevin Brandon's promotion there, Stan.
Who?
The Intergalactic Eurasian title, that's or Uranisan title, that's Kevin Brandon.
Hey. We don't do that stuff here, buddy.
So who is the Uranus champion? That's classic. I love that.
Oh, I know.
I just thought of
It's
it.
Joey Ryan.
But Kevin Brandon of LXW down here in Alabama actually had an intergalactic champion, and no, that person was not introduced by the song Intergalactic by the Beastie Boys. Although I'd have popped big time.
Missed opportunity there.
Brian, you were here last week when I made the statement, and I've made this statement up and down the network. I have said this from square one. Brock Lesnar is being paid by Vince McMahon to train for UFC return. When Brock Lesnar makes his UFC return, unless Vince finally feels the pressure from the board, Brock's going to keep that belt through the end of the year. Now, I don't know if you gentlemen have read this or not, but this is something that I monitored when it comes to Lesnar and his suspension by USADA, the United States Anti-Doping Agency. Lesnar still has 6 months of a suspension to serve. The earliest this fight can take place is January. But you have a 2-month window because reports surfaced earlier today that Daniel Cormier has announced a hard deadline for his retirement when he turns 40 in March.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that. USADA has already been speaking with and testing Mr. Lesnar for a rumored fight at Madison Square Garden in November.
If they waive the balance of the suspension, first off, I'll be impressed because they normally don't. Just ask John Jones. Ask Chris Cyborg.
Well, John Jones's case, he kept doing drugs.
Yeah, I know. He just in the words of Jim Carrey in his role in the movie Liar Liar, quit breaking the law, asshole. Be surprised I don't have that soundbite. Why? I don't know. But no. But like I said, you have a very limited window because Cormier has announced the fact, champion or not, he will retire when he turns 40. And you got to think, he defeated Stipe Miocic last night, who was a heavy favorite for the most part in some sports books.
What kind of name is Stipe?
He's Latin, sir.
My name is Stipe. I am UFC champion.
I didn't say Latin. I'm sorry. Right. I cannot believe I just said Latin. I am so sorry. But no, in the words of
more like El Stupe.
Can you insult anybody else at the beginning?
In the words of Phil Coulson to Captain America in the movie The Avengers, he's not from around here. It took me a while to collect them all. They're a vintage set.
They're vintage. So here's the thing. With Lesnar now going through his US 88 testing, we don't know for certain what's really going on with that, but we know he's in the testing pool right now. If he passes and they waive the suspension, now, Eddie, to your point, I think his waiving of suspension, if that happens, if you needed any more proof that the UFC is a work, just wait until they announce the fight for November. And this also should indicate to us that we should see Braun Strowman as Universal Champion very soon.
No.
Mm-mm. He will carry that belt to at least WrestleMania.
Brock Lesnar will carry that belt through at least his UFC return, but this is where Vince has got the biggest quandary on his hands. Okay, look, I've said for years, pro wrestling is weird. I've said for the last couple of years, pro wrestling is real, the UFC is a work. Mixed martial arts is real. The UFC is a work. Remember, when Dana White wanted to get the UFC in New York, what did he tell the Athletic Commission? That it's sports entertainment. Remember that? When Brock Lesnar walks down that aisle, if it's in a reasonable amount of time and the board hadn't gone up Vince's wazoo, Brock has that belt on a UFC pay-per-view, Vince McMahon will have a loud, earth-shattering, sustained orgasm.
Mm-hmm. And again, if he wins, look at what that does for the WWE.
If
he wins, right?
Now get the F out. He wins.
Ha!
Thank you. That was horribly bad, I know.
That's one of my jokes right there, buddy.
It's just crazy that the shenanigans behind that Universal title right now.
Shenanigans. They should have a restaurant.
And it isn't the Universal title, doesn't that have the lineage? Or is it the one on SmackDown? Which one's got the true lineage?
The true lineage is with the one that AJ has.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I thought True Lineage was the one on Monday Night Raw with the WWE stamp on it,
too.
because the one on SmackDown is still recognized as the WWE. Read the belt. It's WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
So the Universal title on Raw is what's carrying the WWF's lineage?
Pretty much.
And not just that, but the NWA lineage. Because don't forget, they were merged.
No, that was SmackDown.
Man, that's... Well, if that's the case, then it would be the WWE title on SmackDown that has that lineage, because that's the one that merged with all of them. So that's going to be the one.
Yeah, I think that the one on SmackDown, because it is the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, that's the one that evolved out of the old WCW belt.
but it also was unified with the WWE title. Remember when?
Sure.
That, but also when Randy Orton won the World Heavyweight title and the WWE title match, the ladder match against Cena.
Yeah, the Universal title was a created title in recent history. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship used to be the Undisputed, which was, of course, the merger belt.
Yeah.
Well, good. They can piss that one away then.
Oh.
When they merge them back together, the only one that'll stick will be AJ's.
They ought to just go ahead and bring up the North American Championship from NXT because it has more credibility than the Universal title right now. Or better yet, let's bring back the Western States title.
Hey, I like that belt.
So I saw an interesting video today on YouTube of 10 titles that the WWE had in the past. And one of them was for like some martial arts. It was like some martial arts title that Inoki won. And then when New Japan and WWE had a falling out, Inoki kept that title. And then they also used to have a North American title before this one. So it's on YouTube.
I wonder if this one carries the lineage of the old North American title then.
No.
Mm-hmm.
That's a startup belt. If you're referring to the one that was made famous in the Mid-South area under Cowboy Bill Watts, the belt that was held by Mr. Wrestling 2 Magnum TA Ted DiBiase, that belt died a flaming death. But it's still in possession of Bill Watts or the Watts family.
Was that connected to the WWE? Because this one was an actual WWE title.
No. The one, unless something changed as far as during the timelines, the North American Championship, that's a Bill Watts baby.
Yeah, well, there's a video for like 10 titles that you did. It's like 10 titles you didn't know the WWE had, or something like that.
But a lot of kids don't even know the fact WWE once had a European title.
The European title that was never defended in Europe.
Pretty much. No, actually, it was defended at Wembley.
No, it wasn't.
It was defended in the UK.
It was no. You're right. It was defended in the UK, but it wasn't Wembley. It was some Royal Albert Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, because Wembley was just they did Wembley at SummerSlam that one year.
Yeah.
And they never really did a big event there again.
Yeah, Wembley was Brett Dog, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was for the Intercontinental. Yeah. That was still one of the best matches you'll ever be able to find in WWE history.
Agreed.
So, we go from the showing of a mysterious Brock Lesnar to Madison Square Garden, where The Undertaker was in action for the first time since WrestleMania. And Brian, you caught some fan glimpses of this matchup. If I heard it correctly from you, Undertaker looked like he was in pretty good shape.
Yeah. Shape-wise, again, it's a fan video, so there's a little bit of distance. I mean, not enough to where you can't tell who it is or what's going on. But I'll have to say that I don't recall the last time I saw him move like he was moving. I mean, he literally was chaining moves together. I mean, he was moving really well. I mean, it was crazy to watch because you haven't seen that Undertaker in a long time. And it was fun to watch. Poor Kevin Owens, but...
yeah, really. But it still speaks volumes for the trust that they have in him. To be able to put him in there with just about everybody.
Yeah, I mean, he's a professional. He knows what he's doing, but it's good to see him, I guess, with in better shape. You know what I'm saying? So if he makes another run, some lucky people are going to realize, what he used to be, and see a glimpse of that, as opposed to the last few WrestleManias where he's more sluggish, and definitely wasn't, what we used to seeing.
Well, let me go ahead and ask the question because it's gonna get asked now. We know that he's supposed to compete against Triple H in Australia. Does this mean that maybe we're seeing the Undertaker for one actual last run?
To me, it's not set up that way. It's almost like he's in that rare special attraction type thing. I'm not saying he couldn't have one more run.
Oh, you mean he's Brock Lesnar?
What? Maybe that's how you do it. Maybe that's what they're building for. But again, I'm not saying he couldn't do it. I just don't think they've set it up yet. Maybe somewhere down the road he comes back a little bit more than what this will be. The second recorded match that we know of he's had this year. One at didn't he have one at that Battle Royal? The greatest
that's correct.
Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he had the casket match against Rusev.
Right, and then this one, and then one in Australia. So, he looked good though. He chain moves. He, seemed to have some speed on him. Looked to be in better shape. So, hopefully it's good things for him.
Well,
I'd like to see one more.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think if Undertaker is healthy enough, if he's able to keep moving, I wouldn't mind seeing another limited run. Something that has some value so that he goes out on top. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, and to me, they have to fix that crap they started last time. Oh, if you don't win, I'll be back. And then they don't win, and he never shows up.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened here? Where'd you go?
Gentlemen, you have to remember this is the WWE of which we speak, a company that gave us a year-long build toward a once-in-a-lifetime encounter between John Cena and The Rock. And that became best 2 out of 3, and we still haven't seen the rubber match.
The other thing I think...
Personally, I'm not interested in seeing him Cena gonna.
The other thing, too, I think is real interesting about that, I guess it was a 6-man match, is who they put with them. It was, wasn't it Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt or something, if I remember the pictures right?
Yeah, it was Roman, Braun, and The Undertaker.
Or Braun, yeah, there it is. All right. Yeah, it was just, how do we, a year ago, the three of them were beating the tar out of each other.
Yeah.
Yet, now they're, partners? What the?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to imagine. I'm glad that we're able to see people get that kind of attention, especially Braun Strowman. Braun. But the problem is, regardless of the type of attention they're getting right now, what does it turn into? Because, having The Undertaker in the same ring with you, that's a huge rub.
It's just their way of saying, oh, this guy's over by getting a cheer for The Undertaker. It's manufactured. That's what they're into, manufacturing, whatever it takes. Oh, did you hear the pop he got at Madison Square Garden? Well, who was he with? The Undertaker. Oh yeah, it was for that guy.
Yeah, exactly. If he comes out to save the Undertaker from a beatdown, then everybody's be like, oh, it's Roman. Although I will say this, had it been in Philly, I don't think it would have mattered.
No.
Philly has no love. No love for the Roman Reigns guy. No love for the big dog. I will say this. This is what cracks me up about wrestling fans. And Brian, you and I talked about this a little earlier. So you get the moments like that where Roman is just ridiculously getting cheered. And you kind of feel good for him in that, And yeah, you have to recognize he's with The Undertaker. So they're going to be behind him. But then you see those fans that are like, oh, wow, he's super over. That's awesome. Look, all those people that complain. But then those are the same fans that are like, I hate this guy. He's shoved down our throats all the time. I don't ever want to watch Raw again. But the moment he's with Undertaker, it's like, oh, he's so cool.
Fair weather.
Yeah, I mean, really. Hey, everybody's heard the debates we've had. We've had numerous ones. It's, you're either with them or you're against them. Going through all of that garbage is just silly to me. And those fans that are the ones chanting or talking about how it's, oh, he's so over now. No, I think when we talk about it from an overall perspective, Roman's certainly growing in his career. Would he ever, come back to where he was as popular? That's hard to say. I mean, it depends on how healthy he stays, I guess. But I don't know that Roman Reigns will ever be as popular as he was before he had his hernia surgery.
Wait, he had hernia surgery?
So you remember in 2014, Roman Reigns starts hitting the Superman punch, and everybody starts going ballistic. That's right around the same time that we saw the house show where the Shield itself was crazy over and all of that.
Right, against the Wyatts.
Yeah,
That's the one? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So Roman starts blossoming into his own. We start thinking, man, Roman's
Wait. Let's back up. Let's not put we in this.
Brian's sitting back going, what you mean we, Kimasabi?
So
yeah,
I started at that point, this is 2014 again, and I'm like, yeah, Roman might be the guy. And we get
Sucker.
to the Shield splitting. Roman's still having a solid following, and then all of a sudden we get to November of that same year, and all of a sudden Roman's balloon, so to speak, loses all the air because he's out now for surgery due to a hernia. He comes back, 2 months later? And it was a completely different guy. I mean, the cheers weren't the same, the reactions weren't the same, none of it was the same. But they were convinced, they being the top brass, were convinced that by putting him back on the main event, that everybody would just flock to him. Now, I'll give him credit. He did actually have moments where it seemed like, oh, okay, maybe they're going to pull this out. But overall, man, it just wasn't a good call. It wasn't a smart move, and unfortunately, it was when injury struck at the absolute worst time for a person.
Yeah, to me, he was, because he has no personality. Maybe that's my biggest hang up with him. I have no problem with the way he wrestles. I do despise the way they try and cram him down my throat. But he doesn't bring anything to me to the table. All right, so because I actually was thinking about this, right? Now I'm not a Michaels fan, right? I never have been. Well, I'm not going to dispute that he's one of the best of this generation, right? Of our generation, right? One of the best. You can't take that away from him. Mm-hmm. And we're not talking about titles held as far as world titles, because he's not. Right. He's a little bit lower on that, but the fact, he would lose when he needed to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H, another one of the best of our generation. Triple H loses when he needs to lose. You look at Triple H's, I think, his WrestleMania record. It's ridiculous how many times he has lost. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He loses when he has to lose. The Undertaker would lose when he had to lose. You knew chances are he wasn't going to lose at WrestleMania, and that's fine. But there were plenty of matches where he probably should have won that he lost. But with Roman, you're in this vicious little cycle now that you're doing your damnedest to prove that you are absolutely 100% correct with him, that you have him win when he should lose for the betterment of your company. And by doing that, you created Braun Strowman. Who would ever thunk that, right?
Right.
But because you kept having Roman win when he shouldn't have won, you created Braun Strowman purely by accident.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, Braun literally shows up out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden he's having this huge feud with Roman. Which, oh, by the way, at the time when it happens, nobody cared. They just wanted to see Braun beat him up.
Right.
I mean, that's really all they wanted.
But I mean, think about it. He was the third wheel of the Wyatt family. Literally.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? He was the fourth member, but he didn't really say much. He didn't really, he definitely wasn't an enforcer like he should have been. But you pair him with Roman, and because you've gone out of your way to just keep cramming Roman down people's throats, it backfires. And Braun becomes this great big monster, legitimate, monster now. And again, sometimes Roman has to lose. And that may be my biggest problem with him, is when he should lose, you don't go that route. You make him win, to prove a point.
That was always my biggest complaint about Cena. The times where Cena should have lost, he didn't.
Amen.
It was never that he wouldn't put people over. I don't think Cena's ever been about that. And honestly, I don't think Roman's about that either. I honestly think it's a situation where they tell them, hey, so-and-so's going over tonight, and that's that. But, yeah, there's a lot of situations where Cena should have lost to Angle and should have lost to Jericho. I really believe that. I think it would have only served to help his career to have that feud continue that way. But you see these moments, and it's like, where do you get the logic behind it? Especially once Braun Strowman caught fire. Because let's look at it from a real perspective. Braun caught fire, and even at that point, he was still kind of clumsy. Still so, I wouldn't say green, but still just kind of getting his feet wet. And then all of a sudden, Braun Strowman catches fire. To me, it would have made sense. I don't know. I'm not going to say to bury Roman at that point, but it would have made sense to change directions. Right. To just go ahead and change directions. Let's go ahead, like Brian's talked about many times before, let's put Roman at the mid-card because we know he'll get popular there. And let's let Braun go after him.
Yeah, lo and behold, every time you put him there, everybody loved him. Everybody loved him.
Yeah, and that's from kid fans to adult.
Right. And I don't know. I don't understand why. You know what I'm saying? Other than, to me, the fact that, just because you can be world champion doesn't mean you should be world champion. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? To me, a world champion, Roman doesn't fit the bill. I mean, great, you can have your numbers, do whatever. But a world champion should definitely be the guy that puts butts in the seat, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. And I just don't see how Roman could do it. And that's why I think a mid-card is even better. And then, maybe in a mid-card, I can believe that, you're undefeated. You're unbeatable in a mid-card level. But the talent is so much better at the top tier, you can't just always win for the sake of winning. If that makes sense.
And I think that's a perfect time for us to go ahead and take our top of the hour break here. Hey, when we come back, Brian's got a game that he wants us all to play. So I want everybody to get ready because we got one for you. For all of you Roman Reigns fans, I know I'm not the only one.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought for a minute you're going to bring up the fact Brian's invited us all to play Wesson Oil Twister with him. That's just not going to happen, dude.
Well, I mean, that might be what happens to the lucky winner here. You never know.
Guess what, Stan? You're winning.
And we'll be right back on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network after I clean up all this mess. Oh, that's so gross.
The To Be Determined Show, live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on this very radio station, Beyond Ringside Radio Network, BeyondRingside.com, ProWrestlingRadio.net, as well as the Beyond Ringside Radio app. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Architect of Intellect, the Wicked Nemesis, and my producer extraordinaire, Fast Eddie Lane.
That'd be me over here.
My co-host, Joshua O'Hagan.
Kitty got claws. Meow.
My much better half, Angie Nemesis.
Come join the madness.
This is not safe for work. This is your warning, parental advisory. If you have any kind of heart defects, make sure you listen because they will take effect when we go live. I promise you that. For everything outside of wrestling and a little bit of wrestling and hardcore to the bone, we are the To Be Determined Show.
Howdy, friends. It's the Magic City Motormouth Fast Eddie Lane with your invitation to join me, Mark Mabo Bowman, and Brooks Logan Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Find us on BeyondRingside.com, ProWrestlingRadio.net, and the Beyond Ringside Radio app for Amazon, Android, BlackBerry, and a whole lot more. Once again, that's Sundays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network and ProWrestlingRadio.net.
What's up, everybody? It's Stan Grubb for Corner to Corner Wrestling Radio and the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Hey, join us every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as the triple threat of wrestling radio goes live every week, giving you their thoughts and opinions on the world of professional wrestling. Myself, Brian, and Rob, all live, all here for you. And as my good friend Rob would say, from corner to corner and pillar to post, we bring it to you every week at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. BeyondRingside.com and ProWrestlingRadio.net.
If you really want to get raw on Monday nights, tune into the Beyond Ringside Radio Network at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 Central Time for the Midnight Black Mass Podcast. Myself, the Reverend Dan the Dragon Wilson, along with the Strong Style Psycho Tank and Andrew Alexander, bring you a truly blood-curdling experience. Uncensored, uncut, and only on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
All right, and welcome back to Corner Wrestling Radio right here on Beyond Ringside's Radio Network, BeyondRingside.com. Hey, don't forget you can catch up with us on ProWrestlingRadio.net. And, of course, if you're on your mobile devices, whether it's Apple or Android, you can head over to BeyondRingside.com, and all the players are live and in living color for you. I understand that there was a technical glitch with one of the other apps. We're still working on that. It's still kind of in process, so just make sure you stick to the website for the time being. And if and when it changes or if and when anything gets updated, we'll let you know. But for the time being, again, BeyondRingside.com and ProWrestlingRadio.net are the two main locations to catch up with the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. And, of course, Corner to Corner can be caught on replay and also on demand through Spreaker.com once our episodes are done. Now, getting back into the matter at hand, right after we went to break, Eddie brought up a guy that, man, you have to point out that he was pivotal, a pivotal moment for when Roman Reigns seemingly lost the crowd, and he was the one that said, anyone but you, Roman. And that's none other than Bray Wyatt, former WWE World Champion, current member of the Deleters of Worlds, Raw Tag Team Champion. Roman Reigns, really, when he got into that feud with Bray Wyatt, it was so difficult to see anybody, even the hardcore.
All right. I'm putting a stop to this. We're going to play Rank the Roman real quick.
Rank the Roman, is that what we're calling it?
The Roman, and then we're moving on. Okay?
Rank
then we're moving on.
Okay.
All right, so this is what you need to do. Get a piece of paper.
Get a piece of paper. Can I open a notepad on my phone?
I don't care. Whatever it is.
All right, let me do that.
All right.
Notepad. I got the notepad up.
All right. So for those of you with flash photography. No, I'm just kidding. That's
Oh, great.
a
Not the
different-
5-second
that's a-
pause.
That's a different skit. This is what you need to do. You need to write down the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just so everybody, nobody cheats. And if I say 1 through 10, they only put 1 and 10, and try and get a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. All right, so rules are simple. I'm going to give you a name of 10 current WWE superstars. All right, we're going to rank them based on where you think they should rank as being over, not titles, but over. Biggest pop with the crowd, that type of stuff. All right.
All right.
All right. Now, when you place them on your list, right? You have to be honest with yourself. All right? And you cannot move them up the list. You can only move them down the list. Okay? So if you should put, now we're just going to say Kurt Hawkins, number 2, you can move Kurt Hawkins to number 3, but you can't move Kurt Hawkins to number 1 because you should have put him there to begin with if you thought Kurt Hawkins was the most over WWE superstar out there. And however, unfortunately, Kurt Hawkins will not make this list, but maybe in the future. You never know. All right, so you got it?
All right, so we're ranking off of how over they are, not about title runs or anything like this.
No. So strictly upon the way the crowd responds.
Okay.
Okay? Now, we're going to throw the easy one out there for you. Now, wait, I should back up and say this is across the Raw roster, the SmackDown roster, and the NXT roster. Because, again, when they talk Reigns, they say he's the most over in the WWE. Okay? So here we go. We're going to throw the easy one out there. This may shock you a little bit, but I don't think so. We're going to do Alexa Bliss.
Oh, wow. Alexa Bliss. And we're putting
Alexa
her in...
Bliss. And the reason why is because everybody just simply goes bananas.
Banana.
Banana. Right.
So Alexa Bliss is going number 1.
No. I'm just throwing her name out there.
All right.
Put her where you think she should be.
Got it. Okay. Give me a second here, and then I'll tell you when I got my number here. All right.
Well, you just hold your number till the end.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I got her in.
All right. So once I give you the 10 people, and you let me know when I've hit 10, you'll read your list, and then we'll move on from there. Okay?
Got it.
Alexa Bliss. All right. Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now it's going to get harder. Seth Rollins.
Oh, wow. All right. Got it.
All right. Braun Strowman.
Got it.
AJ Styles.
Okay.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Okay. All right.
The Miz.
Tough one. Yeah.
Yeah, tough one, right?
Man, that is a tough deal. Okay. Yep, got him.
All right, so how many is that? You got to help me.
1, 2,
6.
3, 4, 5, 6.
All right, so you ready? Now we're going to get real interesting here.
Okay.
We're going to get real interesting. All right? Johnny Gargano.
Ooh.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah.
Johnny Gargano.
Johnny Wrestling, is that right? Is that what they call
Johnny Wrestling.
There we go. Johnny Gargano. All right, so sticking to the NXT theme, we're going to use Tommaso Ciampa.
Ooh. All right. Okay.
All right, so then if we're going to stick to the NXT theme and we're going to use popularity, we have to use Adam Cole.
Baby.
Adam Cole, baby.
All right.
So, now I still got one to go.
Okay.
All right. Have you adjusted anybody?
I made...
Anybody been adjusted?
No. Well,
No?
is it not really time for adjustments, right?
Well, no, you can adjust it anytime. Anytime you want.
Oh, okay. No, not really. Not really.
Okay. All right. So you're good? Okay, so here we go.
So
Ready
far.
for the last one?
Yes.
All right. The New Day.
Ugh. That's brutal. Okay. Dang. I'm
All right.
already looking at it and I'm like,
All right.
man.
And-
All right.
and for the record, anybody that's counting, that's 10, correct?
Well, it's technically 12, but
Well, yeah, but the New Day, New Day counts as one.
okay. Fair
'Cause
enough.
That's pretty much how they wrestle nowadays.
Yeah, as
All
one.
right, all right, Stan, here it goes. You ready?
Yes, sir.
'Cause that's 10. I told you, we're going to figure out just how over Roman is.
Okay.
Now, you have Roman Reigns.
All right.
In order to put Roman Reigns on your list, somebody's got to come off your list.
Oh,
Of those 10 people, you tell me who Roman Reigns should replace.
Oh, wow.
Now, I have, maybe I did throw one or two out there that you could probably, do that with.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure, let's clarify.
As far as how over they are, is this limited just to their WWE work?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well then that's an easy decision. Got it. Thank you. All right, I am going to remove one.
Okay.
That's an easy
Put
one,
Roman
too.
in.
Do what, Eddie?
That was an easy one, though.
Yeah, I mean, again, I definitely gave you a few that it could probably it could work very easily.
I only saw
right.
one realistically that I could do away with.
And I know which one it was.
Yeah.
It may
We'll
be
go
the
over
one
that
I'm
here in a
thinking
moment.
about too. All right,
Yeah.
so I want you to tell me, starting at 1. Nope, let's go backwards. Starting
Okay.
at 10 and count it down for me.
Okay, starting at 10, I got the New Day.
Okay.
And then number 9, Johnny Gargano.
Hmm.
Number 8, Roman Reigns. Number 7, Tommaso Ciampa. Number 6, The Miz. Number 5, Adam Cole.
Baby.
Number 4, yeah, right. Number 4, there's somebody I know that I harassed with that over this past week, by the way. Every time she said Adam Cole, I said, baby! Right in the middle of work. It was great. So let's see. I said 5 was Adam Cole. Number 4, Alexa Bliss.
Really?
Number 3, AJ Styles. Number 2, Seth Rollins. And then number 1, Braun Strowman.
All right, so who did you remove?
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Really?
Now,
yeah,
here's the
that was
thing.
a little interesting.
NXT Shinsuke Nakamura was ridiculous, right? He gets to the main roster. He's got some hype to him. And nothing. Gotta say, out of everybody on this list, he was honestly the easiest one to remove. And I kind of feel bad about that.
Brian?
Mine would have been Ciampa.
No.
Really?
Yeah, and simply because, I'm not quite sure where this, I know it's a heated feud and all that, but looking future wise, once he leaves Gargano,
Right.
what happens to him?
But that's based on speculation of future days.
Right.
You
Right,
said
right.
this is going off current day.
Yeah, well, but for me, I couldn't put Roman Reigns on a list with those 10. If I
See,
May I?
sure, everybody's allowed to play.
You want reverse order now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
From 10 to 1. Yep.
10, Reigns. 9, Ciampa. 8, Cole. 7, New Day. 6.
hold up, pause. Baby! Okay.
Okay. Where was I? 6, Miz. 5, Nakamura. 4, Strowman. 3, Gargano. 2, Styles. 1, Rollins. Bliss
Oh,
is
so
out.
you
Bliss was
bumped
out
Bliss
easily.
off.
Bliss was out completely. Because I don't... Okay, for as much as I like her in-ring talent and respect her in-ring talent, as far as the ability to get over and stay over, in my book, it's non-existent.
Well, but the requirement wasn't ring work or belts. It's how
Yeah,
over.
it's simply over.
Right,
Yeah.
that's why I based it.
I
She
mean,
got
Alexa
bumped.
hits the ring and the whole crowd goes nuts.
As
Alexa
compared to
hits
what?
somebody with a chair, regardless of who, the whole crowd goes nuts.
As compared to what? Braun Strowman can fart, and it's ridiculously over.
Fair point.
New Day...
Fair point.
New Day breathes and goes, "Whoo!" You have 17,000 people going, "Whoo, whoo, 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 whoo."
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is true. New Day does throw pancakes, and everybody wants to eat them.
You hear Seth. Okay, let's run this real quick. Seth Rollins' music hits. That dead spot occurs, and the crowd yells, "Burn it down!"
Dude, I get goosebumps every time that happens.
AJ's
It is magic, dude.
AJ's music hits. Crowd goes ape blank.
Yeah.
3, Gargano. Enough said. 4, Strowman. Roar! How many people roar with him?
Very true.
I mean, it's the only thing bigger than that right now was Thundercats Ho in the 1980s. Shinsuke.
Fun, Ho. You watch it, sir.
Shinsuke. Even as a heel, the people sing his song.
Mm-hmm.
True or false?
All right, that's fair. I can see that.
6, Miz. Because you know sooner or later you're going to get that shoot interview or that worked shoot interview. Boom, baby. The power couple? Yeah. Anything against? Yeah. I don't. And even when he left the B team, yeah, he's over still, and he's going off to do a damn reality show. Adam Cole, baby. I mean, like I said, New Day, Ciampa. They love the psychotic Tommaso Ciampa, which is the same Ciampa we saw in every other promotion, which I absolutely adore. And 10, Reigns. Dun, dun, dun. It doesn't even have to get to the second note. Boo.
Or cheer.
Yeah, either
he
way.
Gets both. He gets both. He's
no. Don't please don't say he gets both because I don't want anybody to even closely assimilate him with John Cena, which is one of the reasons why he gets booed so much to begin with.
Yeah, because it's fun to boo Cena.
Compared to it is.
Oh, it is.
It is.
Fair point.
It is.
I mean,
It's cool.
WWE came to Birmingham. John Cena had a match. Trust me, I didn't have to get involved, but I did just for the fun of it. Cena sucks.
Yeah.
But
It's just like Kurt Angle. When Kurt Angle's music hits, right? And what do you chant?
suck.
You
suck.
suck. And everybody loves Kurt Angle.
And the minute you get done with that verse of "you suck" and it goes into the hook, everybody explodes in cheers for Kurt Angle.
Yeah, very true.
Now, correct me if you think I'm wrong. At Beyond Ringside on Twitter, kids. If you're listening, doesn't matter. If you're listening live or on replay, BeyondRingside.com. There's a chat room open over there. Come over, take 5 seconds, create a screen name. I want to see what you got to say. Compared to the 10 that I left on the list, I love you, Alexa Bliss. I really do, and I stand up for you whenever some of these imbeciles start jumping on you on social media. But compared to the 10 that I kept on that list, she gets out there, it's apathy.
Wow. Apathy? Okay. All right, Brian. It's your turn. I'm sure you had this list prepared.
No, because it's my game. I created. However, I will tell you this. Should I create a list, I don't see how I can put him on it. And lo and behold, I said current, right? So I didn't mention Cena. And there's no doubt Cena would rank on it.
Bray.
I didn't mention The Undertaker, who's apparently still current.
Right.
Zack Ryder.
Who?
Zack Ryder. That's a fair point.
Least we forget the Fireflies. For
Yeah,
somebody
Bray Wyatt,
whose career has, not lived up to where it should be.
Well,
Anytime he comes out, 50,000 people yank their cell phones out.
You cannot blame him for that. You can
Well,
only
no,
blame
yeah.
creative.
Yeah, I'm not blaming him. I'm saying he is so over, it's funny. And I've been a proponent of them pushing Bray Wyatt for a long time.
But
Yeah, I mean, ever since he made his debut in NXT, Bray Wyatt has just been captivating.
and to believe
Right.
that was Husky Harris. I mean, come on.
But
And he was over
You
then.
know what? When people chanted that at him, I'll never forget being so mad. Oh, man.
And the fun part for me is in this whole scenario, like I said, I mean no zero zilch in the realm of disrespect to Alexa Bliss. But once again, as I stated, compared to the other 10, she does not get a sustained reaction from the crowd. It takes a serious amount of goading sometimes on her part. But once again, let's look at the women. Banks, I hold
Yes,
in
please.
I hold in a higher level of apathy because
Was that
nobody.
not the appropriate response?
Yeah, pretty
No.
much. Yeah, it was fine with me. Bailey. The crowd loves Bailey, but they also see that creative is not going to do anything with her right now, and they're waiting on her to get released so she can go somewhere else and actually make a name for herself again.
Yeah. And by the way, gentlemen, I left off probably the biggest crowd reaction, and that would be Daniel Bryan.
Amen. Well, hell, look at what Ziggler gets. And now, I mean, he's getting better than he had been, even with the record scratch.
And what I'm pointing out to the Reigns proponents that are so in favor of him, and this is what really gets me sometimes, right? Some of these guys with their podcasts, and some of these guys that are just company men and are towing the line and doing what they're supposed to. He's not that over.
Okay.
Stop forcing them down people's throats.
Gentlemen, which is the more true statement? Roman Reigns is over as a babyface character, or Roman Reigns is over as a heel, or C, neither of the above? Brian?
Neither of the above.
Stan?
I mean, he gets a pop. Granted, every WWE superstar gets a pop.
Yeah.
He has a demographic that's geared for the kids, right? The kids, they love him. There's no disputing that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Cena worked that for years. However, stop forcing them down your throats, and people will actually probably start responding better to him.
You know where he lost me for the most part? The night after Mania. He is the second. And he's standing in the ring, and the crowd is booing the hell out of him. I'm talking about the night after he beat Taker, or went over Taker. And he stops and virtually goes fourth wall and says, "In the palm of my hand." That was the dumbest thing he could have done, because that just flipped the switch right there. And in my mind, as it pertained to Roman Reigns, one thing fills the bill. Legit. At that moment, I heard crickets in my mind towards him. Look, there is only one Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold! Stone Cold! I'm going to barf now. There's only one Rock. Those two made an art form out of being the tweener or the antihero. Braun Strowman's on pace for that and doesn't even have to cut a promo. But in the WWE's infinite wisdom, and just because they just can't help themselves sometimes, he is. So, Reigns needs to have a clearly defined role. In my opinion, for as much as he stood there over the last few months ready to reform the Shield and get back with the buddies, and the boys are back in town, and here we go, and the crowd's loving every second of it, comes out by himself, boo. They need...
Wait.
Go ahead.
Oh, even sometimes when he's with them, he gets booed.
Yeah, true. They need to absolutely. They had the golden chance the night after WrestleMania. They could have played that two different ways. Now, imagine the crowd response if he would have led off with, "There is no one in this industry that I respect more than the dead man. There is no one in this industry that I appreciate for what they've done for this business more than the dead man. It was an honor and a privilege to take on the dead man at WrestleMania last night. But all things considered," now the phrase, "this is my yard now." Drop the mic, walk off. You give that crowd that moment of, hold on, he's got a clue. Ooh, my God, he actually has respect for the moment. Oh, my God, we're seeing a little bit out of reins. Boom, this is my yard now. Drop the mic, leave. You will get 30 times the heat from that point. And Roman Reigns should have gone on a 2-year tear as a monster heel because he would have been cheered 6 months in. And when you get to that point where you're so over as a heel that you get cheered in Philly, in New York, in Boston, in Chicago, then you can't help but be turned babyface because it's the fans that are turning you, not creative. Any questions?
Yeah, I still wouldn't have rooted for him. But okay. Yeah. Yeah, so we done with the game. Everybody have fun with it. Did y'all play at home? I hope y'all played at home. Hope some of you guys realized, yeah, he's not that good. Not that great the way they have him right now. I like him better as an IC champ, personally. I actually like him as IC champ.
I like Ziggler as IC champ.
Well, I think you're going to see Reigns and Ziggler here for too long, probably.
Here's the thing that cracks me up. And Brian and Rob and even Eddie, you guys all do a very good job of sticking to your guns about this. But here's what cracks me up. These guys get on Twitter, and there's a lot of them, and they put out there, "Oh, don't put Roman Reigns down our throats anymore." And then now that he's in the ring with The Undertaker, or now that he's out there talking to Cena, or now that he says something remotely worked shoot about Brock Lesnar, "Oh, this guy's the most over guy in the company. It's no wonder he's doing so well." And it's just like, come on. Now, which side are you on? Just come on. You're not fooling anybody. I mean, I respect the fact that Brian and Rob and Eddie and there's quite a few others that just don't like the guy. All right, cool. I mean, at least they have the courage from day one to say, "No, I just don't like him. Don't stuff him down my throat. Don't force him. I don't like him."
Stan, I don't like the inconsistency.
But is that his fault, though? Seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking performance in the ring, then I got you. But if we're talking like inconsistent story and all that, is that really?
Yeah, but here's the thing. He has been handed storyline after storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Some storylines are ones that some people never, ever obtain. I mean, literally, 2 people have beaten The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Right? Unless I missed one. Brock Lesnar.
Brock and Roman.
Right. And that Brock made sense. Right? Roman didn't. Because The Undertaker's the type of guy, especially at WrestleMania, that you can literally go in there and have the match of your life with, and you don't need to win it to come out the other side that much better.
Very true.
Taker Sean.
You see what I'm saying?
Moving on.
Okay, so, but you don't necessarily have to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I mean, how many of them fell by the wayside at WrestleMania The Undertaker before Brock finally did it.
And I still don't think Brock winning was the right decision.
It wasn't.
Well, but yeah, it was fun to do, I think. You know, maybe, I mean, who could forget the looks in the crowd? That was a funny stuff.
Look.
I mean, there are memes now created off
We're looking at you, Ellis.
Yeah. But, okay, let me ask this.
Hold on. Anyway, so, oh, crap, now I lost track.
Sorry.
Oh, you were saying, what were you saying, Stan?
Just the fair weather, the ones that are like, Roman's not over, stop it, and then they're like, he has that magic moment, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's the most over guy in the company. At least I stick to my story from start to finish. The guy has his pluses and minuses. I still dig the guy's work. I'm still a fan, but no, I can absolutely see where Brian's argument comes from. It makes sense. I mean, he can't be so foolish.
Again, I'm not taking away from his in-ring product. Okay?
Right.
I'm not saying the guy can't wrestle.
Often.
I'm clearly not saying the guy cannot wrestle. I am saying his position on the card is ultimately wrong, and until they get that fixed, Raw is going to suffer. I mean, literally, I haven't really watched Raw in probably a month. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. People are starting to literally turn, and it's going to hurt business. You simply move him down. You put him in the IC title run, right? He'd be great against Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. Shoot, I don't care if he wins. But he has no personality other than this is my yard, right? He can't cut a promo. Cena made him look foolish. Nobody's ever going to forget that. If that was truly a work, it was the dumbest work you could have done to that guy. You don't want him to talk, you give him a mouthpiece. Plenty of people have had mouthpieces and never had to say a word. And they've been, champions. But it's time to cut your losses, repackage the guy, try something different, instead of continue with the same rutted argument that he is over. Or the most over guy in the company. Because he's not. He's simply not. And until you stop lying to yourself, you're not going to fix him.
Well, I think they had a huge missed opportunity when they started talking about, possibly putting Paul Heyman in his corner and doing like a double switch. That was a huge missed opportunity. Because, if you're going to capitalize on all of the stuff that you've seen, the moment they really would have stood out and made it matter would have been then. But I have to agree. There's just... Maybe there's not a point where you can actually come back from that at this point.
Can I ask a question?
Again, go ahead.
I want to throw this one to both of you. Remember the pay-per-view after Mania, Backlash? Please tell me the main event for that pay-per-view.
You know what? I don't remember. Is that bad?
That was Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe.
Oh, yes. One of the few guys that really gets consistent good matches out of Roman Reigns is Samoa Joe, by the way.
Now, was that match for the Intercontinental title?
Nope.
Was that match for the United States title?
No.
Was that match for the North American title?
Nope.
Was that match for the Extreme Midget Wrestling Federation Championship?
That's possible.
Okay.
I don't remember.
They may hold that in the Indies. Who knows?
There is a company called Extreme Midget Wrestling, by the way. I actually did a promo for them earlier.
Did you hear that?
That match was the main event. The match before that was Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. The match before that was AJ Nakamura for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on the Blue brand.
Oh, was that the double nut shot that ended it?
Yeah, pretty much. Double count
Snore.
out. So
Snore.
this is the problem that so many people have with WWE Creative, and they're blaming Roman Reigns because of creative and their lackluster approach. There's that word again, lackluster. You put AJ and Nakamura, granted, double count out. Granted, double count out. But it's a continuation match that you could have just as easily put in the main event of the pay-per-view as opposed to a non-title encounter between Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns. They put him in that go-home spot because they are so desperate to build Roman Reigns into a viable, credible, bankable personality that is going to have higher merch sales every month. And it ain't working. There's that concept of driving him down your throat. Yes, it was great to see Samoa Joe in the main event of a WWE pay-per-view live event on the network, which is available for $9.99. But the fact of the matter is,
I want to see a royalty check, sir.
there was nothing on the line. There was this match. Sure, Joe didn't like Reigns. Reigns didn't like Joe. Yay! But see, that storyline had not progressed to the point for a main event blow-off match. That should have been a continuation match between Joe and Reigns. But Joe went over to SmackDown. So, of course, Joe's leaving to go to the Blue brand, so he's going to do the honors for Reigns since it's technically a Raw pay-per-view. And they just can't help themselves into trying to say, well, if we put him over, the fans will love him. No, you ignorant imbeciles.
Wow, Eddie, don't hold back. What do you think? How do you
Yeah, it
feel?
sounds like Roman has hurt Eddie somewhere along the way.
No. Once again, it ain't Roman. This is not a Fast Eddie Lane versus Roman Reigns storyline. This is a Fast Eddie Lane versus the ineptitude of WWE Creative to get stuff right, and Vince McMahon having his head so far up his own ass he could see the SpaghettiOs that didn't digest in his system when he was 6 years old.
Yeah,
My
but
goodness, that's a
to
lot
me-
that just hurt you. Wow.
to me, here's the problem with that argument. Okay, so Roman is not hidden from this, right? He's not protected from all this. He knows that the fans boo him and all that. Yet, if you put him in an interview, I'm the best wrestler out there. And I didn't touch on international or other company wrestlers.
Please give me that. Did
And
he?
he is bought into what the Kool-Aid is. So if it's Drape Kool-Aid or Cherry Kool-Aid or
Drape?
whatever, he's drinking it.
Drape Kool-Aid?
Drape Kool-Aid, that's
There
right.
you-
It's a mixture of grape with Drake.
Okay.
He bought into it hook, line, and sinker. And he, I'm sure, has the ability to be like, look, I don't think this is working, fellas. Let's not have a Roman Reigns hour on Raw last week. Let's slow it down a little bit and see where it goes.
I actually agree. I think if he were to go to them and say that they would do it.
No. It's Vince. It's creative.
Nope. I'm throwing a flag. Yellow flag, 15 yards, Vince reference. No, it's not Vince. Yes, it's Vince, and no, it's not. Here's the reason why it is. Of course, the obvious is he's in love with the Roman Reigns character. He thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread, blah, 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 blah. Here's why it's not Vince. Because Vince is only one guy. And while he may be the quote-unquote guy in charge, let's not forget that the guy actually in charge is Triple H. And Triple H is in love with the idea.
No, he's not.
Now,
It's
there's
Stephanie, isn't it?
It's Stephanie.
well,
Yeah, it's Steph.
Stephanie, Triple H, the whole 9 yards.
Oh.
But here's the thing. When it comes down to it, you have to remember that Roman is the guy that Vince chose, but he's not the one that Triple H chose. And we just read not too long ago that Triple H is not 100% sold on continuing forward with what I guess you could call it the Roman Reigns experiment has been doing. Now, here's the other part of it, though. Brian is talking, and he's right. I do happen to think that Roman is full-fledged 100% in all in when it comes to how he feels about his own performance. But my question is he so far over the top about himself? Is he at that, like, and I only mean this from the perspective of how much he believes in his own work, is he at that Bret Hart level?
You can't do that. Nope, I'm not letting you do that. You can't bring in Bret.
I mean, Bret's the guy that gave Triple H matches 4 out of 10 just because he didn't like Triple H.
Bret's not the only one, okay? Mike, don't get me started on Michaels. You know where this is going.
You see, but I was strictly basing it just off of his own internal belief about himself.
No, you were basing it on hate. That's what you were basing it on.
I don't hate Bret Hart.
Sir. And we are listened to in Canada, okay?
I don't hate Bret Hart.
You're not impartial when it comes to Bret Hart at all.
I am not against Bret Hart.
You are, dude.
I'm probably more anti-Taker than I am Bret Hart.
No, I don't. I'm not buying that.
Taker retired my favorite.
I'm not buying that.
He rotten pieces. I still have those moments where I just am so marked out about it that I still can't believe that Shawn Michaels is retired. It still hurts.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a public service announcement from Brian and myself, don't follow Stan's example. Don't do drugs.
Don't be like Stan. Don't try this.
Yeah.
Guys are horrible. You're mean and horrible, and you should feel bad.
Hey, you're lucky I didn't do that list with Shawn Michaels.
Oh, see, man, it would have just been so unfair.
Yeah, I thought about that one too at work. I had a lot of time today.
But if we're just talking about being over, I mean, Michaels.
Well, no, yeah, but Michaels would be a different. I mean, it would be the same premise. You know what I'm saying? But see, Michaels would actually match up to like the legends of the business.
Yeah.
So you would have to actually go, not just like in-ring, entertainment, in-ring work. You'd have to throw the whole 9 yards in there. Other than titles, I don't. Some legends, their titles, they don't really stack up so much. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I can kind of leave the titles out of it.
Oh, wow! This is news.
What's that?
This just in. It's being reported by unnamed sources that Bryce Harper has been traded to the Cleveland Indians.
You get out of my freaking headset right now. That is the absolute worst news I've ever heard.
The Cleveland Indians.
Are you serious right now? Oh, that's it.
It's Major League all over again.
The show's over. The show's over. Nothing more to see here.
I've been sitting on that for an hour and 30 minutes.
This just in from the little man over here. Yes, say it. Go ahead.
Hello.
There you go. There you go, buddy. They're clapping for you.
There you go. Goddamn, the Indians are winning the pennant.
Oh, man. I will
You did not just say that, Brian.
Ever
Do what?
forgive
You
the
did not
ownership
just.
crew of
You
the
did not just.
Nationals if this is legit.
Hey, he was gone anyway. Why not try and get something out of him?
I will never
Stan,
forgive them for that.
Stan, it was a joke.
Not funny. Not. Don't you play with my emotions.
No, that would have been that would have been Strasburg.
Now Strasburg's a whole different story.
Hey,
think
you zip your lip, buddy.
Oh, you got me heated there. That's not fair, man.
That is so funny. I didn't know you were such a Nationals fan.
I knew it. That's why I waited on it.
Cool. Oh, my heart hurts.
See, I knew, Brian, you were going to say something that would just poke the bear in his direction, and little did I realize it would be HBK and Bret Hart. So I'm sitting over here going, how do I wait for last call to throw it? Do I just go ahead and take the shot? Oh crap! Brian just cut the grass on the grassy knoll. I got a good clear shot.
Did Their receipts will be given, sir. That is dirty.
What are you going to do? Trade Cam Newton to the Falcons?
Hey.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That
well,
might
then
be
at least-
Harry Carey right there.
Yes.
That
At
might
least-
literally like Harry Carey.
Yeah, trade him to the Raiders. I'd actually pay
hey,
more attention.
No, you got to trade him in division.
Yeah.
That would be
crush
great.
me. No, you might as well just send him to the Saints.
Why not send him to the Tampa Bay? Hey, wait. Why don't we send him to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? That way he can actually teach Jameis Winston on how to be a class quality quarterback in the NFL.
Oh.
We're slipping and sliding. It's a slippery slope now.
My heart hurts right now. I'm still recovering.
See, maybe that's what happens. Maybe we get to talk about Roman Reigns. Everybody loses decorum. You know, cats
Okay.
and dogs
Brian,
Living
living
together.
together. Mass hysteria.
Brian, I haven't had a chance to get with you about this one. Your thoughts about LBJ going out west to LAL?
Me?
You?
I mean, I don't mind it. I'm not a huge basketball fan. I'm not a huge LeBron fan either, but I will say I respect what he's done. So why not? You know, the Lakers, why not? I mean, the Celtics have bought players, you know, why not? The Lakers are a storied franchise.
Stanley?
You know.
Did Stan recover from the coronary after?
I don't
There
know.
we go.
Maybe
Hitting the mute button there.
Yeah.
Honestly, when it comes down to the decision, I mean, I don't know that it makes it any bigger or worse or better for LeBron. I mean, he's never going to be Jordan. And that's,
oh boy, hold on.
You
made
done
a
it
Jordan
now.
reference. I'm sorry. Personal
What?
foul, 15 yards, and
the
offensive.
greatest to ever play the game.
I don't care. He's okay. Look, there is no
The
comparison
Roy
between the
Hobbs
two.
of basketball, really.
There is no comparison between LBJ and MJ.
You're right.
They are two totally different players in two totally different eras in two totally different circumstances.
One's a whiny millennial. The other one is Michael Jordan.
Hey,
Okay.
let's not go there.
One
Stop.
cries when he stubs his toe. The other one is his airness.
Or punches his
Shawn Michaels.
We're talking basketball.
No, we're talking whiny babies.
Oh, okay.
Short version of the story,
Okay.
and I've been very vocal about this.
There's some receipts going to be dealt. Let me tell you.
Now, for the record, I don't think Shawn Michaels is a whiny baby. I just love teasing Stan about it.
It's
I
his
think
favorite
so-
thing to do.
Look,
it is a great pastime.
During that first run with the championship and everything else building into it, Shawn Michaels was one of the most manipulative people and backbiting individuals that I've ever known about in the industry called pro wrestling. And trust me, the only thing more cutthroat than behind the scenes in pro wrestling is behind the scenes at your local strip joint, because those thong-wearing ladies will turn around and cut a throat faster than anybody. So you have that, and then you put you put Sean and Hunter together, and they both get in somebody's ear. They are major league ish starters. And then here comes
Spoken
Kevin.
like a true Bret Hart supporter.
I wasn't a big Bret Hart supporter,
Aha!
and I had a world.
The Click's behind everything bad in wrestling.
No, the Click was behind a lot of things good in pro wrestling, but they were also behind an equal number of things that weren't so good in pro wrestling.
Right.
I have a world of respect for what the Click managed to accomplish, because remember, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall going to WCW and breaking away from the WWE Click started the era of guaranteed contracts, not just downside guarantees. That changed the game. Even more so than Jesse Ventura bringing outside representation to negotiate his contract with WWF. So, yeah. But as far as it goes, you had situations where, and I'm not going to start racking off stats from other people's podcasts, because everybody knows there's only one that I actually listen to and pay attention to and laugh
that's
90% of the time. Now, I don't laugh when I listen to yours unless Rob or Brian say something funny.
Sucker.
Hey, Stan, just for you.
Oh,
But,
receipts.
dude, you could hop on Usain Bolt's shoulders and you couldn't keep up with me.
Mm.
I don't have to hop on his shoulders.
Well, I wasn't going to say ride his jock.
See, that's just disgusting.
What an interesting mask Naito is wearing.
No, but
Yes,
seriously,
ladies and gentlemen, I am catching up on the G1 special from San Francisco last night.
oh, I've got it on
And
DVR.
Naito is wearing a mask with 3 tongues protruding from it.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, it's a crazy mask.
I'm on. See, this is what I love about Dish, because I have down at the away from Studio One.
Wait, let me back up. It's not Naito. I'm sorry.
Sounds like evil.
Yeah, because they just showed Naito.
Yeah, there you go.
I think they threw the name up, and I only caught Naito's name. That's why.
You
But
know,
anyway, okay. Go
But
ahead.
as far as
Yep.
it goes, so coming back to it, look, I liked Brett. I liked Sean. I liked Hunter. But if you go back and Brian, you brought up win-loss records at Mania. You look at, but let's bring up win-loss records on Raw, on SmackDown, on the other shows that WWE has had that Hunter's been on. Look at his track record against people who should have gotten a monster push in the Fed. Hunter goes over those people 9 times out of 10.
I'll tell you what, the one guy that I will say that, and I only say this because I have a certain loyalty to the guy because he gave us a great interview. The one guy I always felt that Michaels and the rest of the clique kind of screwed was Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah.
Because that guy was a machine. He was athletic. He was charismatic.
He was injury prone.
Yeah, but they burned him so bad. I mean, by the time he finally got his feet under him, he had no chance. It sucked.
Yeah, and because of the fact that he had the look, that he had the style, that he could actually cut a decent promo, you had people like Triple H and Shawn Michaels and half of that group that were sitting back going, man, he could knock us out of our spot. What spot? Dog spot? Liver spot? What?
Hey, let me just warn you, that's
No.
not safe. That's
No.
not safe.
Now receipts are coming from me.
One of the most controversial, hated promos of wrestling history in our fandom group. I think we were all ticked off when that happened. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny when DX did it to
The Nation.
the Nation, but yeah, when the NWO did it to Horseman, that's not so funny.
No,
Not
that
so
was because you could tell that they knew what they were doing was out off script.
Of course.
And you just knew that Nash is thinking to himself, this is going to go over like gangbusters. And it did. I'll give him credit for that. It did put them in a different stratosphere, except it also put them in nuclear heat level in the back. So, not like they didn't already have it, but, you know.
Don't get me wrong. It was pure genius. It was gold. But it just happened to be the Horseman.
Right. Just tough. So, hey, before we close out, because we are coming up in the closing moments, I do want to go ahead and spend the last few moments talking about July 14th, the Hoops Academy in Ashland, Virginia, Ultimate Championship Wrestling presents War. Big Stuff Industries and the DuPont family have been going at it almost the entire year since UCW's return. And now we finally will get the culmination of just battle lines drawn, and we have a tag team matchup main eventing this show. We've got on one side Humphrey J. DuPont and a mystery partner, and on the other, KR Superstar getting in the ring for the first time ever. And his tag team partner, Brian, have we gotten confirmation on the identity of his partner, or is it still just a member of Big Stuff Industries?
Wait, what did you say?
Have we gotten confirmation as to which member of Big Stuff Industries it's going to be?
For KR?
For KR's partner.
Yeah, it's the champ.
The champion.
Is that a trick question?
Actually, yeah, it kind of was. I was trying to get you involved. Thank you.
Okay, you're
Play
both
rock.
wrong.
Wait.
You're both wrong.
What?
You're both wrong. I know who the mystery partner is.
No, but
Doug,
he
don't-
didn't say Humphrey, the mystery partner on Humphrey's side.
No, I'm
He
talking about
wanted to
KR's
know who KR's partner was.
Oh,
Right,
that's
right.
even
That's
easier.
on the posters and everything. Do they even? I'm gonna have to talk to the boss.
I can answer that
Really?
question very simply. It was me, Austin. It was me all along. Okay.
And to quote Jim Ross, son of a...
So now, just remember though, for Humphrey's mystery partner, he came out and said it could be anybody he's ever managed.
That's right. And the list that Humphrey
Is
data
long.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, you got to look at it from the perspective of who could it possibly be. Man, the names are endless. Endless, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it really gets interesting. Getting his chance to finally perhaps win his first title in Ultimate Championship Wrestling, the King of the Common Man, challenging the television champion. That's right, Joe King taking on the Red Scorpion for the UCW television title. Noise Pollution, invoking their rematch clause, will be challenging Cheap Thrills for the UCW Tag Team Championship. Avery Rose is scheduled to defend the Ladies Championship. Now, I've heard rumors as to who her opponent could be, but you'll have to be there in live and living color to truly witness who it will be. But I can promise you that our new Ladies Champion is going to be ready for competition. We've also got word that there's going to be an awesome triple threat match. We've got Ethan Cross on one corner, Tremor on another.
Wait, it's in one corner.
In.
Well, you better get it together. You're gonna get. You're gonna get poop canned. That's it. This time for real though. No jokes. You're gonna get fired.
It'll be the fourth time just this week. So
Slow week, huh?
yeah, it has
Yeah,
been.
actually.
It's been a little rough. In one corner, we've got Ethan Cross. On the other corner, we've got Tremor. And in the middle between these two, having made a great return, in my opinion, just a few weeks ago, the former UCW heavyweight champion, Mr. Second to None, Dewan O'Neal. I mean, you will not find three guys that have had more of an impact in Ultimate Championship Wrestling, I would say outside of our champion, the heavyweight champion himself, than these three guys. And it's interesting because I want to know who these guys are looking to go to after this matchup, because you got to believe, I mean, with the winning streak that Tremor's been on, with the chip on the shoulder of Mr. Second to None, and honestly, with the anger that Ethan Cross has been taking with him, you got to believe they're looking to reclaim a top spot. Maybe this triple threat matchup decides who our next number one contender is. That's all I'm saying. Maybe.
Well, at least you forget the returning Wes Rogers
That's right. Safety first.
versus Pork Chop Johnson.
Pork chop.
Pork
And-
Chop Johnson's in the house.
I don't know that there's a more popular superstar in Ultimate Championship Wrestling in that locker room, or perhaps on the East Coast, than Pork Chop Johnson. I really do.
I dare say, at least in Virginia, he is probably one of the most over.
I would say he's certainly the most popular in UCW right now.
Mm-hmm.
His performance in Orange, I mean, the guy took a beating from Jackson Shadows. Really. Toe to
Chops
toe.
alone. Oh,
The chops, the suplexes, the slams. I mean, it was... Give Jackson Shadows credit. This guy has a future in the singles ranks. If he ever decides he wants to be done with tag team competition, one half of the Hounds of Hades could just become Hound of Hades by himself. That's all I'm saying.
that
But
makes no sense. You know what you're saying.
You know what?
Are you nipping? Is that what you're doing right now? Are you nipping?
Nipping?
Yeah, the bottle. Are you hitting the bottle?
I
Hitting
mean,
the sauce.
I had a beer.
Oh my goodness, crazy! Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when Stan has a beer and then does a podcast.
You're right. It was good beer though.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, imagine how it would sound if he drank a beer and then did live internet radio.
That
One
would
more
be
guy
funny.
says shenanigans, I'm gonna pistol whip him.
That would be funny.
Hey, what's the name of that restaurant? Oh, you mean
Hey, watch this. Shawn Michaels, shenanigans.
Hey, you son of a...
Yeah, I love it.
Bret Hart was overrated. Folks, that's going to do it for...
Hey, at least he didn't get beat up by Marty Jannetty in New Orleans.
I knew you were going to slide that in there.
Ah-ha!
I should have known that was coming out today. Jerk.
Not that there's any truth to that, mind you, okay? All right, people, don't take it
hey,
literal.
If the Macho Man can separate the two of them, though, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, not me. You know, we're just joshing, we're just funning, we're just clowning, we're having shenanigans.
That's it. You're going down. Hey,
I hear you. I'm not going to do it.
don't you do it.
I'm not going to do it.
Exactly. All right, you can catch up with the show on Twitter at C2C Radio Show, Corner to Corner Show on Facebook. Again, we got another awesome, another poll, another voting competition in the Corner to Corner group. Best Super Heavyweight, the final four. Braun Strowman. Remarkable that he's gotten this far this early in his career. Andre the Giant. Abdullah the Butcher, and Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but Big Van Vader.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't. I tried to shy away from. Oh my goodness gracious! These polls. They cause it strife and controversy.
It does.
Arguments.
And Scott, we're talking to you, buddy. You got to calm down.
Yeah. I like just watching the winner. You know, the final.
Yeah.
How does Braun rank though? That's crazy.
Well, I mean, and that's just it. In such an early part of his career, too. I mean, he's only been active, 4 years?
You know, the Giant Baba, is he not in there? I mean...
Oh, that's just it. Like, Paul Bundy, Yokozuna, even Bam Bam Bigelow, who, I don't know if he was a super heavyweight, but definitely he was a great heavyweight. But still, a lot of big super heavyweights that didn't make it to the Final Four. Anyway, that's in the Corner to Corner Wrestling group on Facebook. So head over there on Facebook and put your vote in. Let's see where you stand. And then, of course, you can catch up with Rob, who is on vacation this weekend, but you can catch up with him on Twitter at Rob Hepner C2C and RDHEWP on the Instagram. Hey, and if you got his Instagram right now, that's right, right now you can see photos from his trip to Disney. So
Wait.
What's that?
He's not even here, and he stole my bit of having you post the social media stuff. He's not even here. Why does he get the ring?
Oh, wow.
You should have just left him blank this week.
Rob, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I just thought I was doing something nice. You really ticked Brian off. Way to go.
Shenanigans.
Not again. And then,
Now
of course,
Monkey Boy dance.
See, I was, it's just not nice. Brian can be found at STRCP21 on Twitter. Brian Taylor on Facebook. Doesn't use his Instagram. Don't bother him on there. Setting on.
I have Instagram.
Horrible.
Say something nice about it.
I don't even. If you have an Instagram, I've never seen it.
Oh, it's on there.
I'll tell you what, guys. Why don't you go ahead and search them out? Okay. See if you can find them. You let me know. Okay. I can be found on Twitter at Stan from Krypton, Stan Grubb on Facebook, and Stan Grubb on Instagram. Hey, don't forget, Ultimate Championship Wrestling can be found at UCWForever.com. Check us out on HighSpotsWrestlingNetwork.com. You can find Ultimate Championship Wrestling there. Right now, we've got 3 different episodes of Defiance available and on demand for you. UCW Forever on Twitter, UCW Forever on Instagram, and hey, UCW Forever on Facebook.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
You want to buy tickets?
That's
Where
right.
can they find them?
Tickets are available right now at eventbrite.com. Keyword UCW War. They will be available at the door as well. They're selling fast, however. Let me just remind you, last time we were in Ashland, Virginia, it was indeed a sellout crowd. We were turning people away. So don't be last. Get your tickets right now, and we will see you in Ashland, Virginia next Saturday, July 14th for UCW War. Get a chance to see the war unfold, the battle between the DuPont family and Big Stuff Industries. And with that, as we get ready to roll out, it's time to laugh. Eddie, close us out in style.
At Beyond Ringside on Twitter, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live. Of course, BeyondRingside.com is home, as well as ProWrestlingRadio.net. Early notice real quick, and for those of you just now catching on, I'm sorry it took so long. The app is in limbo right now. TuneIn is in limbo right now. They are running, I'm putting everything on those services as soon as we finish post-production here in studio. So, if you're listening right now on replay through TuneIn and through the app, we'll get that caught up very quickly. Unless it's already Monday, then it's already caught up and you're behind the times. For me personally, the website is FastEddieLane, LAYNE.com, mainly because I'm a jerk about my social media. Facebook.com/FastEddieLane. Click like over there. I post similar stuff. If we don't know each other, don't send me a friend request.
Well, how are you going to get to know them?
Yeah.
Facebook.com/FastEddieLane.
I mean, it's not all swipe right, Mr. Eddie Lane.
Swipe up, swipe down, swipe up, swipe down.
Is that a new one? Is that the new app?
That's what she said.
Don't! Oh, jeez. There we go. And we're down the tubes already.
Already? It took us two plus hours. And on behalf of all of us here at the Beyond Ringside Radio Network, we hope everybody has survived a great 4th of July weekend. Week and weekend. Of course, to the children down in the cave that have been rescued, our hearts go to you, as well as the rest of the crew that is still down in the cave. You should have taken the boat for a 3-hour tour. That way you could have made $1 million on a television series.
Oh, and quick programming note, Corner to Corner will not be airing live next Sunday. Myself and the doctor will be recovering from our post-show hangover.
And then in a pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be lucky to be awake through the first half.
And
we have a strict, we'll probably fall asleep in the second half.
You're probably right.
And if y'all have me on social media, that means you'll be able to see what my antics next weekend at Kentucky Kingdom theme park.
Correctamundo. And for the record, for all my fellow Washington National fans, the Natural still remains in Washington, D.C. Bryce Harper was not traded. I will never forgive Eddie for that joke.
I didn't know Dustin Rhodes was playing for the Nationals.
I mean, you could already write the Indians in for the pennant. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. Worst joke ever. Ever.
Should I do it like this? For Brian.
Chaos versus Ingonables de Japón from the G1 is pretty off the chains.
For Stan.
Yeah, shenanigans, and y'all have it coming. Receipts.
For Rob.
Mickey Mouse here.
Thank you. I was waiting on that. Studio announcer Fast Eddie Lane saying, thank you for going corner to corner. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.